City, done. Easy. Arsenal, bam. Carrick has won both of his first 2 games and exceeded expectations considerably. But for a lot of United fans, Fulham at home, it's going to be not the real test. Let's be honest. You couldn't even say this sentence had we not won those first 2 games, but we have. And what we need to do now against Fulham, can we do it in a game where we're expected to win, where we're probably going to have more possession? These are the questions that we want answered by Carrick with 3 points. I'm going to run through his starting 11. Team news, you can let me know what you think in the comments below. What's your prediction for the game? All right. In terms of Dorgu, well, you don't need me to tell you this, but yeah, he's going to be out. So it's not going to be the same starting 11. In terms of other team news, actually, that's a little bit in transfers. Sometimes in our control, pretty calm. Look, we're not signing anybody. Stop getting your hopes up. Delict, not back in training, but Xerxes has been training, so could well come back into the team. As I said, it's been a couple of big scalps for Carrick, but all United fans, we've got PTSD from Wolves, Everton, Bournemouth. You can put Brighton in the FA Cup if you want. Just games at Old Trafford where you expect United to win. In terms of Fulham, right, they're 7th in the table. But we played Wolves, who were rock bottom, who absolutely smashed 4-1 away from home, and they came to Old Trafford and got results. So there is no 3 points guaranteed in the Premier League anymore. But Fulham have been difficult to beat this season. It's going to be a tough game. And let's dive into the starting 11s, all right? So this is United's starting 11 from last game and also Fulham's. Now, one change that United are obviously going to be making is Dorgu is out now. Man, that sucks so much. And I kind of think, if I'm being completely honest, if I'm looking back here, am I moving Senny off? No. Am I changing a back 2 of Maguire and Martinez that has worked so well? Why would I? Why would I touch it? That's a case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the way I look at our defence right now. Could you bring Mazraoui in for Delo? There's an argument for that. But I actually think Delo's been okay in these last couple of games. Kind of goes in and out. You might see Mazraoui come on. Luke Shaw started every single game so far this season. I think he's the only player to do that. I think so. He'll start. Midfield too. Again, why am I going to change Mainu and Casemiro? There's no need to. They've both been playing really well. We're playing once a week. Done. Bruno in the number 10. Why am I going to change anything with Bruno there? All the questions really are about the attack. And how do you replace Dorgu? Because there's honestly quite a few options really. Now, maybe the main one on paper is that, right? Cunha coming in and starting out on the left wing. Cunha against City got the assist for Dorgu. Cunha against Arsenal got the winner. It's not as if Cunha on the bench has made him like sulk or be angry or head down. He's been fantastic when he's come off the bench. And this, one of the grimmest stats this season, Cunha's goal against Arsenal was the first time that a substitute has scored a goal for United this season. Bad days. Man, our subs have not been having an impact. But you could start Cunha there. However, this is the thing. If you start Cunha there, this is what I would say. What you've seen United do a lot, out of possession, I imagine we probably do a similar sort of thing. We've kind of been tucking into a bit of a 4-4-2, haven't we? Out of possession. This is why United have been extremely difficult to beat, because we've been very hard to play through. Now, in that position, do I think Cunha can do the same sort of thing that Dorgu could do? Cunha's very, very good at tracking back, so maybe he could. But there are other options. Well, I mean, I'm just going to run through the options, because it's up to Carrick who he decides. Bruno playing there, and Mbeumo, you're up top, and Ahmad there. Right. Other options that you could do. You could keep Cunha on the bench. You could move Mbeumo out there. And you could play Sesko up top. Because I think the Sesko conversation is interesting. And you could play Mbeumo out there. You could play Ahmad out there. If Carrick wanted a left-footed player and felt like that's going to be part of how you replace Dorgu in the team. So maybe Ahmad playing out on the left and Mbeumo playing on the right. I don't quite know. You can chop and change those. But it's kind of the question about Sesko. Do you want to bring Sesko into the starting 11? It's just as important as how do you replace Dorgu. Because if you bring Sesko in, maybe you're doing that because you're going to be expecting maybe Fulham to sit a little bit deeper and you're going to have a bit more crosses. Maybe focus on some set pieces, as is the case in the week, every week in the Premier League. Then you're going to start Sesko. Do United need a target man up front? If so, you're going to be playing Sesko. I think it strikes me that either Cunha or Sesko is going to be disappointed. Because I don't think they both start this game. I think on form, I think it'd be really unfair to leave Cunha out, regardless of whether Sesko starts. I think Cunha starts this game out on that left wing. Well, left attacking mid. So then the question is, do you take Mbeumo out for Sesko? You can't not play Mbeumo. And also, you just can't take Ahmad out of the team either. So in reality, I think what you're probably looking at is just one change. It's Dorgu Dorgu out and Cunha in. And then from the bench, we've got Sesko. Who else have we got on the bench in? We've got Sesko to come on. You've got Mount, who's kind of gone a bit quiet. Feel a little bit sorry for him, but since Amrim left, he's hardly going to get a sniff. Mazraoui may be coming on for Delo. You could bring Xerxes on at some point there, and then 2 centre-backs. Well, neither of those will play unless we get an injury, and there's a reason why Maguire and Martinez have come off. I think that will change. Obviously, Amrim was changing a centre-back every single game. That's the only change I would make. In terms of the Fulham team, they're going to have danger on the wings. Wilson's going to be a tough player, so maybe Cunha is going to have to be busy and doubling up. That's been one of the most important things in these first 2 games. How much we've doubled up on the wingers in limiting the chances that the opposition has had. So if Cunha does play there, he's going to have the most, you'll know it when you're watching it, the most obvious game of where he's tracking back significantly more. He does do it quite a lot anyway. But I think that's what I would go for. Cunha coming in on the left, and Mbeumo keeping his position up front, then keeping Bruno and Mbeumo as the sort of the front 2 when you drop into the 4-4-2 shape. I think it's worked quite a lot. It's not that Sesko couldn't play that system, but I think Carrick would probably rather bring him on as a sub. In terms of my prediction for the game, I think I went for a 2-0 on the pod. I think I'm going to stick with that, because if there's one thing I've been impressed with the most in these first 2 games, it's the defending, which might be a strange thing to say considering we conceded 2 against Arsenal, but both of those were from set pieces, right? Was the first one a set piece or just out wide? It was a ball into the... I think it was after. It was like second ball after a set piece. And this, obviously the second goal was a scramble in the box because they had a Royal Rumble in the 6-yard area. I'm going for a 2-0. I don't think this game is bigger per se than beating City or beating Arsenal. But in the grand scheme of this season where we've been hurt so many times as United fans, this will be a game where a lot of you, will, and myself included, will be looking at Carrick and going, okay, I believe in it now. I believe in what I'm seeing for the next few months. Because these games are going to be far more reflective of the next 15 that we've got left than big occasions like City and Arsenal. There's far more games against teams like Fulham than there are against games like City and Arsenal. United can always get up to those big games. They did that under Amram as well. So I'm going to go for that as my starting 11. Cunha in for Dorgu, the only change. Strong bench, 2-0. Bang, 3 in a row. Come on, 21 is coming.